Just as we're finally seeing V71 make it to some Quest headsets, and not all of them, now talks of V72 are already starting. So if you're out there and you've been waiting on V71, these updates always supposedly roll out person to person or region to region and even feature by feature. So sometimes there'll be a specific feature like the new settings menu that was supposed to be modeled more after like tablets or iOS, still not showing up even on my Quest, that now shows it's on V72 as part of the public test channel. But because of that, the public test channel version of V72 is giving us some previews of what might be coming for the Quest. We usually move through these previews pretty fast, but then when the full release notes come out, we'll go more in depth. But for now, some of the features it looks like are showing up are the possibility of live captions, and a lot of this, of course, pulled from Luna over on Twitter. If you're really interested in knowing about updates ahead of time, Luna's who you need to be following. But code strings that indicate there'd be improvements for live captions and the way they're encrypted through apps. Live captions were a feature that were actually talked about by the VP Mark Rapkin before as coming soon, something that obviously for people who prefer to be able to read what they're hearing or for accessibility reasons that help people to be able to understand it that way, this could be huge for the Quest, especially as VR is a technology that still has been seen as not being terribly accessible, as a lot of times it expects you to be able to move both your hands and stand to play games. A virtual selfie cam has been seen in there, a way that you could even hold a cam out in front of you or set it up in case you wanted to do avatar calls through your headset. A new folder showing up specifically calling out PCVR apps inside the Quest, although possibly something for the bigger plan of the expanding Quest link. An ability to open up the 2D apps in your room by just dragging and dropping the icon directly into the space and having to open them up docked. A refreshed boot screen branding showing Meta Horizon OS when you open it up inside. They're just not going to give up on that name Horizon. They're not going to give up on scrubbing every sign that it was ever Oculus. These are first previews of V72. Hopefully some bigger features will be coming because these are all pretty minor, and I feel like we've gotten used to every update at least bringing some slightly useful things, albeit rarely the amazing huge changes forever to the Quest. But hey, what would you like to see out there? What are some features you'd really like to see added to the Quest? To be honest, I just wish overall the Quest was a little bit less buggy sometimes. Even today I was in a game trying to get into a multiplayer and we had to make sure we were both following each other and then could do a call together to then find each other in the app to add as friends. Sometimes it feels like VR is just so far behind in like the multiplayer party settings, and it's come a long ways. If you didn't own a Quest 1, it has come a long ways, but it still is oftentimes more trouble than it should be to get into a game with people together and just play the game. Most of you out there seem to really enjoy when we cover sports games, and there's one that just dropped that you might not have caught. Badminton Time is now out on the Quest store. This is a new competitive multiplayer game, although it's got serious badminton modes based on real physics, or arcade modes just for fun, superpowers that you can use against your opponents, mini games, training modes, and as someone who actually had a badminton court at one point, the game in realistic mode does really feel a lot like the real sport. You can play one-on-one with AI, or you can play with up to 4 friends. I actually got to get in with content creators and play it together and have some fun. There's links in the comments and description down below if you want to check it out. And there's even a free trial so you can try before you buy. But so far, everyone who's reviewed this game has given it a 5-star rating. People saying it's really fun. They had fun with their friends in there. People think that the mini games are really challenging. It's nice to be active while playing VR. Thanks again to them for sponsoring this week's news. And if you do check it out, make sure you check out the avatar builder. There's tons of different outfits. There's different kinds of rackets and just a lot of little fun details in this one. If you missed it, we just announced some of our big giveaway winners this week. With that, we do have some new holiday giveaways going on, and not only that, but there's also a bunch of other ones that we comprised from other creators, upcoming games. There's even Trombone Champ is giving away an RTX 4090, which I actually even entered in that giveaway myself. So if you missed any of that, I will leave a link to that full video at the end of this video, but I'll also leave some links down below in case you want to get entered in our giveaways or some of the other ones, because there's a lot being given away for the holidays, and why not win a little something extra before the holiday yourself? Ian Hamilton recently wrote an editorial about how much VR is actually changing the way people are working, especially from home. And it got me curious and just kind of wanting to ask all of you some questions out there. Basically, he goes on about how remote work has changed everything to where when you're at home, you need a space for working from, and then when you're done, you kind of want to put it all away and have it not be a workspace all the time since it's in your home. And this brings up productivity, which is something we talked about multiple times with VR, and how you can use a headset to have multiple monitors in front of you. And it's something interesting for me because even though I love VR, I game in VR, do fitness in VR, I still use a traditional desk setup with 3 monitors, and I never use my PC paired up with a headset as multiple monitors. And personally, as someone who really believes in VR, it's funny that it's just something that I feel like still slows me down and makes it harder to get things done. So I'm curious, how many of you out there really utilize VR for productivity? Do you find something like Immerse allows you to have more monitors than you actually have at home? Do you find it's at least helpful on the go because you can plug it into a laptop and have all the monitors you would have had at home? A case use that I can see making more sense than having this at home. Or are you someone who's been on a plane with an Apple Vision Pro and a MacBook, done a whole bunch of work from a plane? I'll leave a link to the full article that they talked about it in because it was an interesting read for me, but I'm curious out there as we talk more about VR and what's really going to push it forward to the next level of the world. Are these productivity tools and people utilizing VR for work really the next step to keep us from just being thought of as a gaming thing or even as a fitness thing or a lifestyle product? And is it possible that we would ever get a laptop like that one that was supposed to come where it's just a keyboard and everything else is a VR headset? Sadly, speaking of that innovative idea for that AR laptop, it has been canceled. They called it a headless AR laptop. It was supposed to be like a laptop where you just put on a pair of glasses, saw your monitors, and you were able to work without that bulky screen in your way and be able to look any direction with as many monitors as you want. But this means that any customers that did that $100 deposit pre-order on this will be refunded, and this is no longer going to be a thing. Unfortunately, maybe this was just too wide of a swing for the world and we weren't ready for something that didn't have any monitor at all, because now they're saying that the funding is going to be shifting focus to a software product for Windows laptops, kind of doing the same thing but not including the hardware to do it. I'm disappointed because it seemed like a new innovative idea, and it's something that could really help shift the focus of the entire world if people saw people with laptops, no screen, and just a pair of glasses doing everything from there. Unfortunately, it looks like we're not ready. If you don't know the Gaming Awards, that's a big awards show at the end of every year similar to the Oscars, but for gaming. We actually got to see the main host, Jeff Keighley, when we were out at Gamescom for the launch party of that.
I want to thank everybody and say that I think I want to nominate this award to my Reformed Orthodox Rabbi, Bill Clinton. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
What's that guy?
But they always have a section for the best VR AR game of the year, and for 2024, it has been announced the nominees are Arizona Sunshine, the remake, so the new version that's been completely remade from the ground up, Asgard's Wrath 2, of course, the Quest exclusive title, the sequel to the original Asgard's Wrath, Batman Arkham Shadow that just came out, the fully designed Batman game designed specifically in the Arkham universe, Metal Hellsinger VR, one I was a little surprised to show up, a rhythm FPS game, which is cool, it just seems like a much smaller, less developed game than these huge titles here, but ultimately it does come from a very popular Hellsinger game outside of VR, and then Metro Awakening, of course, also from the Metro universe, another big one. So I'm curious in the comments down below, of all those games, what do you think should win Game of the Year? If I had to guess it, I feel like it's going to be Asgard's Wrath 2, but of course it could be Batman or really any of the others. I'll be pretty shocked if Hellsinger wins it. It's a good game, I had a lot of fun playing it, but when you look at these other major IPs and these huge big budget games, it does seem surprising that it's on the list. And if there's ones out that you feel like should have been nominated for Game of the Year, which ones do you think they were? Speaking of awards shows, if you don't know of the XR Awards, that's basically the VR AR specific version of the Gaming Awards or the Oscars, whatever. And it's in just a couple weeks here. We'll likely be streaming it for all of you to watch with us as we get to see all of the biggest creators and companies win awards for the year. A couple of the categories to highlight, obviously an important one, XR Content Creator of the Year, a whole bunch of names you probably all know out there. Mateo311, Gamertag VR, A Wolf in VR, Benjo, you can see the full list here on the screen, Nazy, Nathy, Cass and Cherry, whole bunch of the creators I'm sure a bunch of you also watch out there. But then of course the other exciting ones, their XR Game of the Year, which interestingly has some of the same ones as the Gaming Awards, but a whole bunch of different ones, and it's missing a lot of them too, although their cutoff dates are sometimes different, so maybe Batman wasn't up for an award for the XR Awards this year, and it might be next year. Obviously though, Arizona Sunshine 2, Asgard's Wrath 2, big ones for the year there. I do like that the Infinite Insight and the Seventh Guest are on the list though, because both of those were like intriguing and unusual style games. Here's an interesting one. I'd love to hear in the comments what you all think. The HMD, the head-mount display, basically the headset of the year. Obviously the Quest 3 is what most people can afford and would probably pick to be the frontrunner, but do you think for what deserves to win an award for the year, should it be the Apple Vision Pro or the big screen Beyond with how revolutionary they are, or the Vario XR4, the Xtal 3 with how expensive they are? Or do you think because of the approachability, the ease of use, and the amount of people that can actually get one, the Quest 3 3 should win it. There's other interesting things like the film and experience of the year, but of course there's also things like the marketing campaign or the social impact award, some of the ones that probably wouldn't apply as much to our audience, but you'll get a couple streams here in the next few weeks because there's the AI XR awards that day. And then Thankmas. If you don't know what Thankmas is, every year it's a huge charity drive. Tons of different content creators all around the world. Charities stream live to raise money for a cause. This is headed up by Jacksepticeye, who originally started Thankmas. And usually every year we stream it and we help raise money. Well, this year I'm actually gonna be there. Front row tickets. It's super exciting. I'm really excited to be there, but hopefully editor John is gonna step in here and still stream it so that you can hang out with him. Try and see if you catch a shot of me in the front there hanging out, and then we can still raise money together. So I'll still be in the stream, kind of on my phone as best as I can from the show, calling out donations and donating here too. So it's really exciting that we're gonna get to go. I can't wait. It's gonna be wild. I've watched Jacksepticeye for a long time, so it's gonna be wild to be there in the front. Mark your calendars, the 5th for the AI XR Awards, the 6th for Thankmas. Both days you can hang out here with us in the stream. And just once again, I wanna say thank you so much to all of you out there. 90,000 subscribers. Actually, it's like nearly 92 as I speak right now. Thank you so much for being here, supporting us all these years, pushing us to be able to go to all these kinds of events that we get to go to. It's just really amazing. So thank you once again for the millionth time, and I'll see you in another reality.